This is Maestro with a Dawn of War 2 Retribution Elite Modcast. Today we have a 1v1 on Quest Heresey. And our first player is Skippy, playing as the Kommando Nob. Sneaky orc who has some guns, some knives, and can sneak around and surprise you. His opponent is going to be Lindonin, playing as the teleporting Warp Spider Exarch, a mobility commander who can harass and be very annoying. Alright then, I can't actually tell you just how excited I am for this particular match because of just how incredibly old school this matchup is right now. This is literally, I could date this cast probably back to 2011 even, with just how old school this is. When I think back to who were the best players back when I first started playing or casting and watching tournaments, I definitely think of some classic names like Holy Hammer and Tex and Dark Riku and Vindicare. But these two names are kind of up there too, in that these players have these two names are names that are basically as old as time. And they're also playing on what I believe are their main races, and I would say for Skippy, as far as I know, even his main hero, when I think of Skippy, I think of the Kommando Nob. For Lindonin, I would actually say that when I think of him as a Farseer player, although I'm not sure, maybe I could be wrong about that. But I definitely think of him as an Eldar player. And we also have this match occurring on a very classic map. One of the game's stock 1v1 maps. Been here possibly even before Retribution, since although now, I'm pretty old school myself. I wasn't really around in the pre-Retribution days, so I don't actually remember. But I do think that this was a map that was in Dawn of War, either Dawn of War 2 Vanilla or Chaos Rising. And meanwhile, we actually have the Warp Spider Exarch going down really, really early. Skippy choosing not to upgrade his shooter boys allows him to get a Luda out pretty fast. I gotta say the Luda choice is a little curious, simply because I feel like it's something that can be pretty easily countered by the Warp Spider Exarch himself. So my guess is we're probably going to see some pretty tricky positionings from Skippy with the Luda squad. Maybe even see if he can bait the Warp Spider Exarch into the firing arc of the Luda squad. Here we do see that the Howling Banshees were caught in the firing arc, but did not take enough damage to actually fully stall their approach. They're just going to walk back, and we see Skippy here not even bothering with the retreat. And the reason why, I imagine, is because if he does actually retreat the Ludas, then that actually gives Lindonin some time to actually do a little bit of bash. Probably wouldn't even get the full generator bash, but I think Skippy's intention was just to back off, so that at some point Lindonin has to back off with the Howling Banshees, and then he'll just be able to reset up and keep the power farm safe. And right now I do feel that this is a pretty strong start for Skippy over Lindonin, denying the generator bash on his own power farm, and now able to succeed with a generator bash on Lindonin's power farm. We do see the Burner Slug is not even bothering to use the burners. At this point, practically no need, with every single one of Skippy's units committed to taking care of the power node. And yet somehow, in spite of what a good start I thought it was, Skippy actually lost his original Luda squad, and he's actually just going for another one. Must have been something that this Dire Avenger squad did. I did see that the Dire Avengers, they already have the upgrade to the aspect of the Avenger, and when I had selected them, they were pretty low on energy. Make me think that basically what happened was at some point a grenade was thrown on the Ludas, then probably finished off with range fire, and also probably while Skippy was focused on the power farm that he did not respond to the threat on the Ludas. So here we see a melee matchup between the Warp Spider Exarch and the Kommando Nob. Warp Spider Exarch does choose to teleport away, and of course the Warp Spider Exarch does have the better end of mobility, but in that particular case he had quite a bit less health. The Kommando Nob did have the support of a squad of shooter boys, and we're also seeing upgrades on the shooter boy squads as well. So here is big shooters on both of the shooter boys. Luda's positioned away. This is looking pretty rough for Lindonin, I gotta say, because even if he has very he's got barely any income, period. I mean, I guess he does have the node on the contested power farm, but he still doesn't have as much as Guru Skippy with a full natural power farm. And Guru Skippy is really taking commanding control of the map. It's only a 1-to-1 in victory points, with actually a lead in favor of Lindonin. Lindonin choosing to focus more on upgrading his squad, and he also made his third squad a tier 1.5 squad, so he does have the smaller army. We're going to see this approach. I'm a little concerned about this. Okay, so Howling Banshees do use War Shout. Get them in. Oh, I like that combination, actually. That might even be the kill on the... Oh, so lucky that the lead model... Oh, maybe not so lucky. Finishing off with both the Ranger Shot as well as the Warp Spider Exarch teleporting in. And these are very much two veteran players, and of course I'm hyping them up a lot because they've been around for so long. And I mean, the thing is, like, in pretty much any game, things change, and these guys may have been some of the best players of yesterday. It doesn't necessarily mean they're the best players of today. I'm really not sure. I haven't played them myself, or at least not in a very long time. And, but I mean, I still feel we're seeing a lot of the veteran moves there. That was a very, very well-handled engagement by Lindonin, using the Banshee War Shout to cause the suppression, to combo with the grenade, instead of just doing what a lot of people do, where they just throw the grenade raw and then just kind of pray that their opponent doesn't move out of the way. Lindonin, if anything, really not trusting that Guru Skippy will just stand there, although I suppose Guru Skippy possibly could have retreated a little bit earlier to avoid it. But I still like that combo. Rangers here from Lindonin. I feel they've been doing quite well. There have been a few times when it seemed like they were approached on, but Lindonin managing the retreats so that they have not really risked going down yet. So Lindonin still somehow does have a lead in victory points. I feel that came early on, and I'm not entirely sure how. Guru Skippy, though, now getting to tier 2 faster, not a surprise, even though we finally have a full power farm from Lindonin, but it really has been Guru Skippy's who's had the better end of the power income for most of the game so far. I also think with despite the Warp Spider Exarch certainly being well known for his ability to control the map, I don't feel that Lindonin's composition at the moment is that great for it, since he's gotten a short tier 1, so you just have less units out on the field. That's also less units out on the field also means that in order to actually win any given fight, it's more likely that you actually have to commit your entire army. And this is probably just going to be a retreat soon from Lindonin, since he's been doing a good job of using the fleet of foot to kind of soft retreat. And again, look at that. So we saw the approach. The stun bomb had to go out, even though Guru Skippy probably knew that Lindonin was going to dodge it anyway. And it had to go out to just act as that deterrent, because otherwise then the Banshees actually do just get into melee and then knock over the Kommando Nob and possibly even threaten to kill him. But Lindonin, just with those reactions, that knowledge, he knows that's coming too, just gets out of the way. Stun bomb, it's not that it does nothing, it doesn't hit anything, but it serves a zoning purpose. Shooter Boy is choosing to get all the way into grenade. Well, I think that was a grenade that was mostly just a little unlucky for Guru Skippy, with just one of the models kind of caught out with the way the squads kind of spread when they are in cover. And we are seeing the Howling Banshees with the aspect of fleetness rather than the aspect of strength. Often a curious upgrade. Generally, I think the aspect of strength is the safer upgrade because it does give you that slightly better anti-vehicle damage. Although, that's not to say that aspect of fleetness Banshees do nothing to vehicles. They can still serve a light anti-vehicle purpose. They're just a little bit worse at it. So here comes the War Truck, and already upgraded to the extra armor, or the reinforced plating as it's really called. And that's often something that I wonder, will an Orc player actually choose to get that extra armor? Often, what I feel as not a great Orc player myself, is there are a lot of times when I just want to get that extra armor just so I can keep the war truck alive a little bit longer, makes it a little bit more forgiving on the micro. Sometimes better players, though, will choose to forego that upgrade to save the resources and then just really rely on their micro to keep it alive. So we have an exact tie at 393 to 393 victory points. Oh, but man, I feel like the blind Tier 2 purchases, although I'm not even sure, yeah, I think the Falcon was bought, or was started before he saw the war truck, but kind of so I think they were blind picks, which is just Guru Skippy chose to get the war truck, Lindonin chose to get the Falcon, and I mean, just head-to-head, the Falcon clearly beats the war truck. At least in the sense that the war truck can't stick around. War truck should have faster speed, so it shouldn't have to just stay and take the Falcon's range fire. But the war truck can't really just sit around wherever the Falcon is. And Lindonin, taking advantage of the brief moment that his Falcon is uncountered, to bash one generator, possibly going to see if he can get two, not even risking the second one. And I think that's smart play. First of all, he understands, of course, that Guru Skippy is already in Tier 2. Tank Bust is not even a particularly expensive unit, and not a surprise to see them come out on the way. Ludas, there already was a Luda squad, could have been upgraded to a Beamy Luda. But right now I think Guru Skippy's really liking using that Def Gun for the control. And a little bit passive at the moment, but a victory point lead for Guru Skippy because he actually has Lindonin's natural. Warp Spider Exarch in cover. Theoretically, Warp Spider Exarch should always be in cover, so there we see the micro out of the Tank Buster barrage, but he is moving forward into some more direct Tank Buster fire. Needs to be careful with that one. Yeah, I was going to say, he moved forward into the Tank Busters, whereas I feel like he could have dodged backwards. So took a lot of damage. I mean, he microed it and kept it alive, but I'm actually not entirely sure if I like that because that puts the Falcon off the field a little bit longer while it does get repairs. And we are also seeing the Warp Spider squad now on the field, obviously put in place there for the use that it has against the War Truck. And I mean, of course, Warp Spiders are actually just very good against... they're also just good against Orc squads. But, I mean, it just serves that dual purpose of being very good against Orc squads as well as giving the Haywire Grenade to deal with the War Truck. I didn't like that particular play, though, and I was honestly really surprised to see Lindonin make that play, where teleporting aggressively with the Warp Spiders without the support of the Falcon and just throwing the Haywire on the War Truck. There was no chance that the War Truck was actually going to go down there. I feel not even with the Banshee support, I don't think the Banshees would have done damage fast enough, and the Sluggers were there to kind of counter all that. So right now I like better the way that Guru Skippy is handling this, and I think Guru Skippy is also kind of riding the advantage that he had going all the way back to Tier 1 when he was able to get his power farm up earlier and deny Lindonin's power farm. Because we see him already going to Tier 3, whereas Lindonin is pretty comfortably staying in Tier 2. He's not going to Tier 3 really anytime soon, I don't think. It's a tough call. He's not that far off from the resources to start Tier 2, but he's got other problems where he already has a smaller army than Guru Skippy, and the Warp Spider Exarch has been incapacitated. And of course, this being a 1v1, there's no friends coming to revive you. One of the ways in which 1v1 games are less forgiving than team games. So, some infiltrated tank busters, they will open their barrage. They do get a little bit of the element of surprise, but taking just too much damage from the Dire Avengers. Not able to stick around there, otherwise they might actually risk dying. Although they didn't actually lose a model. Pretty lucky, I gotta say. Down to about 25% hit points, actually a little bit less. 200 out of 850, it's less than 25%. So Lindonin trying to harass with the Rangers. His Rangers have been pretty well positioned all game, where the Rangers have never really been under serious threat. And I think that's in part, we don't see anything like Storm Boys out from Guru Skippy, but we do see Nobs, and that could start to put the Rangers under serious threat. Again, retreating the Rangers without losing a model. And even though I'm pretty sure that Lindonin has been intentionally not to reinforcing the third Ranger member, and I think he does that. There are a few squads, such as Rangers, where the extra models don't actually add that much to the functionality of the squad. And really, you still get something like, this is an arbitrary number, but something like 95% of the value out of the Ranger, possibly more. Oh, man. Just by having the lead model. So Falcon is in a little bit of trouble being chased by the Truck Busters, the amalgamation of Tank Busters and War Truck. But Lindonin holding on to the double cap for the moment. Banshees went in. They do have their Exarch now with the dual power swords, or the Exarch mirror swords. But they will just need to retreat there, so Lindonin now knows about the Nobs, choosing to upgrade to Tier 3. And, you know, I think that's okay, especially given that I feel Guru Skippy is being a little bit slow on taking back the contested victory point, because Lindonin is very much at a tech disadvantage and an army disadvantage, but for the moment, he is keeping the pressure on the VPs. So Nobs will approach, scare off the Rangers. Warp Spiders teleport out. Dire Avengers get into the Falcon, so the Nobs don't really have much of a target. And it's actually amazing how well that engagement was handled by Lindonin. And that is, I'm going to find it, the Entangling Web. So Entangling Web is a melee counter, so especially when you're dealing with a really high value tanky melee squad like Nobs, it's very much a go-to choice. And we did see that it temporarily immobilized them. Nobs can of course just retreat, but that is something that also, well, puts them off the field, and sometimes that's what you want anyway. We do have a sync kill from the Warp Spider Exarch. No, actually I think that was just from the Warp Spider squad. But where's this Warp Spider squad going? That was really strange. Was he just intentionally killing it? Or is he just dropping his micro all over the place? I really don't know what happened there. That was really, really surprising. I'm not sure what's going on here. Meanwhile, we've got the special shooter from the Kommando Nob. Potentially good against the Howling Banshees. I really don't know what happened there. From Lindonin. Well, that's kind of rough. All things considered, he's still managing the victory point lead, but now he's at an even bigger army disadvantage than he was at before. So, I mean, there's a question of, like, what is he going to go for now? I mean, he needs to get something. Possibly Seer Council as a way of really deterring. Just as a way of really deterring the Nobs. Fire Prism could serve the same purpose, but I feel would be riskier. And yeah, I don't know what happened there. I mean, overall, I've been really enjoying the level of play and seeing the tactics in this game, but I mean, that just seemed kind of like an oof moment from Lindonin. And if anything, I feel like the game's not over yet, but that was a pretty big loss, and that's something where it's gonna be hard to recover from that. Actually going for the Avatar of Cain. And how do I feel about that? I'm not 100% sure how I feel about that one. So, Guru Skippy does not actually have a whole lot in terms of damage against the Avatar. The best damage that he would have against the Avatar would be the Nobs. But at the same time, the Nobs are also something that gets somewhat countered by the Avatar, since the Avatar's abilities are able to knock down melee units. Although it depends on which ability we're talking about. Wailing Doom is something that the Nob should be able to just dodge, unless Lindonin is able to use something like the Banshee War Shout to suppress them, whereas the Wrath of Cain is something that is very much designed to counter Nobs. It's just that area of basically that radial knockback ability. And we're seeing Guru Skippy really now take advantage of just that big drop in micro from Lindonin to just start running away with this game. And it would be very interesting to see if Lindonin is actually able to keep this competitive. But even though he's still got 160 victory points, at this point I honestly do feel that Guru Skippy has probably won this game. So there is the Avatar of Cain, and Lindonin actually not too far off from getting another unit, so especially if he does get out another unit, he might be able to start making this competitive again. And that's something... It looks like it's another squad of Warp Spiders. Yeah. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Originally I was going to say, oh, maybe to get a Seer Council, but I think the Warp Spiders do make more sense. Warp Spiders giving him that, just again, a way of dealing with vehicles, with the Haywire Grenade. We are seeing Commandos trying to deal with the Howling Banshees, but the Howling Banshees aren't to melee with the Commandos. I think the Commandos need to go here. They risk a lot of losses by not retreating earlier. So there's one Commando model down, 2, 3. Those are some expensive losses for Guru Skippy. That's something that, even though those are just model losses on a squad, that's something that could really help Lindonin get back into this game. Since Guru Skippy is now actually at a point where he is relatively low on resources, should be able to reinforce this squad just fine. Trying to see the reinforcements, but it looks like he's not reinforcing it yet. Wailing Doom not being walked out of. Guru Skippy must just have his attention elsewhere, and he nearly loses both Shooter Boy squads. That was pretty big. I don't know what this Wrath of Cain is, though. So we do see the Avatar chasing the War Truck. And if the War Truck stops, that Avatar is going to take some big chunks out of it. But really... Oh, there's the Haywire Grenade. That should actually be the end of the War Truck. Yep. Just one more sword right through, sword strike right through the back of that truck. Does kill it. And, you know, in spite of what I said before, Lindonin has clawed his way back into this game. He's done it. Although it's weird, because I actually feel like both players, even though I've kind of hyped these players up as being good players, I feel like both of them had some really big oof moments. Lindonin, when he lost the Warp Spiders, where it seemed like he just completely forgot about them and dropped his micro. I'm a little worried about this Autarch calling too. And then Guru Skippy also with even things like the way that he just had his Shooter Boys standing in that Wailing Doom. If those Shooter Boys did not have a Nob, those squads would have been dead, because all of the models on the squad were dead, on both squads were dead except for the Nob, and even the Nob was close to death. So now it's Lindonin threatening the triple cap and suddenly turned everything just on its face, or I don't even know what metaphor I'm trying to use. Just turned everything upside down. He's got the triple cap now, where it was Guru Skippy who had that like a minute or two ago. I think we're going to see things start to go back in Guru Skippy's favor, at least for a little bit. It's just kind of the push-pull of the game. But Lindonin now actually has the bigger army for once. So this is definitely going to be a back cap by the Shooter Boys. Guru Skippy now in a position. It's actually Guru Skippy who's now in a... Guru Skippy might actually just lose these Nobs. Like, they're there, they have activated Meaner and Greener, but once they start retreating, the Banshees chase... That's the end of the Nobs, I'm pretty sure. And somehow I think now it's Lindonin winning this game. You know, I already called it as Guru Skippy like 2 minutes ago, so I'm not going to be... If anything, I shouldn't call it anymore. Because now it actually really, really looks like Lindonin is going to win this game against all odds, whereas like 2 minutes ago it looked like he was almost guaranteed to lose it. Oh man, if there's an ability to retreat, that could be the end of the shooters. It is! Wow. Sluggo Boys chasing after that Ranger. This Ranger has been a hero. It's just been getting consistent value, and these Slugger Boys are also done. So this, I'm pretty sure, actually... Oh, this is very much the game in favor of Lindonin. That's crazy. They're infiltrated. They're still going to die. Force melee by the Warp Spiders. That's the end. And at this point, I'm basically just waiting for Guru Skippy to call GG. Because I don't think there's enough time. Yeah, like before, at least for Lindonin, Lindonin had time, whereas I feel like Guru Skippy really doesn't. And he might even lose... I was going to say, he can't even believe he lost this one. I can't believe he lost that one.
That's disappointing.
But that was actually a really good game. I mean, in spite of 2 really big blunders by each player, overall it was a really good game. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a good night.